What?
In the heart of a wealthy South African town, Puleng and Thabo were the perfect couple, a love story everyone envied. Puleng, a light-skinned, stunningly beautiful woman with grace and intelligence, had married Thabo, a tall, dark, and irresistibly handsome man. They lived in a luxurious mansion, a symbol of their success and seemingly unbreakable bond. Their marriage was filled with laughter, passion, and a love so radiant that it was the talk of their community. But everything changed when they hired a maid named Naledi. She was a quiet and attractive young woman, diligent in her work and respectful, at least at first glance. Slowly, Puleng noticed changes in Thabo's behavior. He began spending more time at home, often skipping work without any clear explanation. His eyes lingered too long on the maid, and his presence around her grew more frequent. Sometimes, in the middle of the night, he would leave their bed and go into the maid's room, where they shared passionate kisses and spent time together. He would then return 30 minutes later with no believable excuse. Suspicion gnawed at Puleng's heart. Desperate for clarity, she turned to her best friend, Zainele, who advised her to confront Thabo. But Puleng, afraid of accusations without proof, decided to wait and observe. One fateful afternoon, Puleng realized she had forgotten an important work file at home. She drove back quickly, hoping to grab it and return unnoticed. But as she stepped into her home, her world shattered. From the master bedroom, the sounds of betrayal reached her ears. She pushed open the door and saw Thabo, her husband, naked and entangled with the maid. Puleng's heart broke into a million pieces. Tears poured down her face as disbelief turned into agony. Thabo, scrambling for words and dignity, fell to his knees and begged for forgiveness. He blamed the maid, insisting it was she who seduced him and led him astray. Despite her devastation, Puleng, fearful of losing her husband and hoping to salvage their love, forgave him. Though the scars on her heart ran deep, the maid was immediately dismissed from her job. Days passed, and Thabo began behaving strangely again. He would come back home late, sometimes even spending the night out. Whenever Puleng inquired where he had been, Thabo would start arguing, reminding her that it was his house, and he could come and go as he pleased. Puleng stood speechless, wondering whether Thabo was still the same man she had married. Thabo spent time drinking in clubs with different women, often coming home drunk. Whenever Puleng tried to address his behavior, he would not hesitate to slap her. Puleng was living in fear, and her patience finally wore thin. She packed her belongings and left their home, seeking solace and understanding from her parents. But their response crushed her further. They told her it was a minor issue, that every marriage had its flaws, and she should return to her husband. Reluctantly, and feeling abandoned by those she trusted most, Puleng went back to Thabo. Out of fear of community judgment and the lingering love she still felt for her husband, she endured the pain and agony in her marriage. But, just 2 months later, the past came knocking in the most painful way. The former maid, Naledi, returned, visibly pregnant. The truth stood before Puleng, undeniable and cruel. Her love story, once admired by all, lay in ruins. And this time, she chose herself. With a heavy heart but newfound determination, Puleng walked away. Not just from her home, but from a love that no longer honored her. This time, she did not seek advice from anyone, not even her own parents. In her journey to reclaim her dignity and peace, life had unexpected blessings in store. After some time of healing and reflection, she met Luthando, a humble, respectful, and kind-hearted man who loved her unconditionally. With him, Puleng found the gentle love and stability she had always deserved. Their love blossomed beautifully, and soon Puleng became pregnant. When their daughter was born, a radiant and beautiful baby girl, their joy knew no bounds. In the warmth of her new family, Puleng finally experienced the happiness and peace she had longed for. And together, they lived a life full of love, laughter, and the kind of happily ever after that she had once only dreamed of.